Hi, this is Alan from Alpus Group, and I'm going to talk to you today about the 11-point contract checklist, which we offer you if you want to subscribe to our mailing list. It's basically a free explanation of contracts in simple terms. So I'll just talk you through these these are the 11 types of contracts. So just going through, item 1 on the list is a lump sum contract, which is a very simple contract, and its features are that it's a fixed price. So it's best suited for small contracts, and it assumes that both parties understand the quantum of work, and that the contractor prices the quantum of work and the employer is happy with it, that there's no variation to that amount. So if it's finished under the amount of money budgeted by the contractor, then he will make extra profit. If the contractor is miscalculated, he could lose money, possibly heavily, if he's significantly underestimated. So this type of contract has limited application owing to the complexity associated with normal projects. There are usually lots of variables with contracts, so it's very unusual to have a lump sum contract. However, it's not impossible to do that if both parties agree and both parties are willing to take the risks involved. So the second type of contract is a time and material contract. So this is a flexible contract where the contractor is reimbursed exactly for his time and material costs. So the employer may pay more than he thought he would. So the risk is with the employer that the time and materials will be greater than he may have anticipated. So it does work best where the scope is ill-defined, and it's a fair way of remunerating a contractor because he gets paid for his time, he gets paid for his materials, but there's no incentive for the contractor to work efficiently. The third type of contract is cost-plus contract. So this is cost reimbursement. So all the direct and indirect costs are reimbursed to the contractor. Design changes can be accommodated, and therefore it's flexible, and the upfront costs are borne by the contractor, so that's basically the mobilization costs. There's no incentive for the contractor to work more efficiently because he knows that he's going to get paid for his costs, plus he's going to get reimbursed for a margin. So the employer usually requires cost justification of all the costs, direct and indirect, in order to pay. If not justified, then the cost can be disallowed. So the employer would normally engage a quantity surveyor to act on his behalf and ensure that all the costs being submitted were legitimate and that the contractor wasn't trying to pass off some costs which should be perhaps part of his overheads as a direct cost to the contract. Item 4 is unit price contracts. So these are basically remeasurement contracts. They simplify invoicing, and they can be flexible. You can add or omit scope, and predicting the final cost may be difficult, and the remeasure can delay the payment. And point 5 is a guaranteed maximum price contract. That is, the contractor caps the price at a maximum level to the employer. So the contractor is pricing into his guaranteed maximum the risk, and there's known exposure for the employer. He knows he won't have to pay more than the guaranteed maximum price amount. In that situation, however, the employer may pay more than he has to do to get the work done. For example, he could get the work done on a remeasurement basis and pay less for the work, but it may be valuable for the employer to be sure that the contractor won't go above this guaranteed maximum price. So it may take a long time to negotiate such a contract because the contractor has to be sure that he's priced in all of the quantum of work, or all of the subcontract prices are fixed, and that he's priced in all the risk. Item 6 on the 11-point contract checklist is incentivized contracts. So these are shared profit contracts, and they're an attempt to be fair to both parties, the contractor and the employer. They don't protect the employer from claims. However, the contractor is incentivized to find savings because he will get a share of those savings. Sometimes it's 50-50, sometimes it's 60-40, sometimes it's another percentage. But what's a feature of these sort of contracts is that the contractor will usually try to negotiate the maximum possible budget so that he then maximizes the savings when he actually comes to implement the contract. Point 7 is construction management. So this is where there's no main contractor, and the construction manager arranges and manages the contracts on behalf of the employer. It gives the employer control and flexibility, and there are direct contracts arranged between the employer and the works package contractors because there's no main contractor as such. The interfaces need to be managed, and that's the job of the construction manager, and the contracts are between each trade or package contractor and the employer, and the construction manager will administer them on behalf of the employer. So point 8 is FIDIC contracts. So these are international engineering contracts. There's a new Red Book contract where the employer provides the design, except where stated as being by the contractor. It's formal and inflexible, and it's generally an adversarial form of contract. The contractor may be obliged to provide some design where stated in the contract. There's a new Yellow Book under FIDIC contracts, which is design and build, and this could be said to be a preferable arrangement where the design is the responsibility of the contractor, but of course the employer may pay a premium for that to occur. It depends on the tender process, and it is recommended to apply such contracts to electrical, mechanical, plant works, design and build buildings and civil engineering. And then there's a third type of FIDIC contract, which is a Silver Book contract, which is engineer, procure, construct, turnkey contract, where the contractor takes total responsibility for design and execution of the work. The employer may pay a premium, it depends on the tender process, and it's usually applicable for process and power plants where a high degree of cost and time certainty is needed. Point 9 is the NEC suite of contracts, and these are recently collaborative contracts, which are generally to be preferred. So the NEC 4 contract builds on the success of the NEC 3 contract. The NEC 3 was proven to be successful in practice. Parties need to understand and fulfill their respective obligations, obviously, and it's proven successful contract nationally and internationally. Point 10 is the JCT suite of contracts, which are produced to provide key services. So these are tried and tested. They've been under development for many years, more than half a century, and they reflect the benefits accrued through precedent and what's been learned through trial and error during the process of evolution of the contracts, the suite of contracts. They facilitate the process of constructing buildings. It's a standard form of contract. It saves time, it minimizes transaction costs, and it allocates risk fairly based on negotiation between parties who organize and author this contract. There's a minor works building contract, 2016, with contractors design. It's been formulated since 1931, and there's been a gradual improvement in the contracts which covers most of the pitfalls. It's formulated by representatives of clients, designers, contractors and subcontractors. And there's another part of the suite of contracts which is alliancing with excellence. So it covers all the broad range of activities from the smallest to the largest. It's a tried and tested suite of contracts, and generally the safe option would be to go with JCT suite of contracts for whatever your contract is, and accept that there'll be some risks that fall to the employer, some risks will fall to other parties, but it's generally a tried and tested and fair suite of contracts. There's another set of contracts here, which is the AIA forms, which are American Institute of Architects. They're customizable to suit the project, used in the US and internationally. They're tried and tested. They are an adversarial form of contract. The subcontract has remedy for non-payment if the contractor hasn't paid him. The contract is simple and easy to understand. It's expensive. The retention amount is negotiable, and there's guidance on claims and arbitration from case law, taking on the terms of higher level documents. Generally, it's a proven form of contract. So those are our 11 points checklist of forms of contract. A simple guide is not a detailed guide, but it gives guidance in principle about forms of contract. So if you want that 11-point contract checklist, we can send it to you if you just drop your email to us, and we'll email you a copy. Cheers for now. Yeah, this is Alan from Alpus Group, and you can contact me on +44 7539 141 257 or on +44 333 224 1257. You can schedule a call with me at calendly.com/AlanJE, or you can drop me an email at alan@alpusgroup.com. Cheers for now.